The message from the stars. Commander Elinga Reyes jolted awake as the emergency alert pierced through her quarters at the Deep Space Monitoring Station orbiting Jupiter. The digital clock on her wall showed 2:47 Earth Standard Time. After 15 years of service, emergency alerts at this hour never brought good news. "Commander, we've detected an anomalous signal." Lieutenant Park's voice crackled through the comm. You need to see this." Within minutes, Reyes stood in the station's control center, her dark eyes fixed on the main display. The room hummed with the quiet tension of night shift operators, frantically working at their stations. The signal originated from the Proxima Centauri system, Park explained, bringing up a visual representation of the waveform. Initial analysis indicates it's using an old Earth military encryption protocol, one we haven't used in over 20 years. Reyes frowned. "That's impossible. There's nothing out there except..." Her voice trailed off as the realization hit her. The Horizon Colony. They were declared lost with all hands in 2184. That was 30 years ago. "Yes, Commander. But the signal's origin and encryption are consistent with Horizon's technology. Have you decrypted it?" Park nodded, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "Just completed. Audio only." The control room fell silent as a distorted voice filled the space. "To Earth Defense Command. This is Captain Yuri Novak of Horizon Colony. We survived. We were captured. The Krell are coming. Massive invasion fleet. 8 weeks until they reach Earth. They've studied us for decades. Prepare defenses. This is our only chance to warn you." The message dissolved into static. For several heartbeats, nobody spoke. "Authenticate that signal," Reyes ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "And get me a direct line to Admiral Wainwright at Earth Defense Command. Priority Alpha." 6 hours later, Reyes stood before the 12 members of Earth's Defense Council in their underground chamber beneath the New Geneva headquarters. She had just finished presenting the Horizon signal and all corroborating evidence they had gathered. "Our deep space telescopes have detected unusual energy signatures moving through the Oort cloud," she explained, bringing up the astronomical data. "The patterns match nothing in our databases, but they're definitely artificial and moving at speeds that exceed our most advanced propulsion systems." Admiral Wainwright, a weathered veteran with silver hair and a reputation for unshakable calm, rose from his seat. The signal also contained technical data, specifications of the Krell fleet. He nodded to his aide, who displayed the schematics on the main screen. Gasps echoed around the room. The alien vessels dwarfed anything Earth had ever built. Weapon systems beyond human understanding. Shielding that could withstand nuclear bombardments. "If these specifications are accurate," said Director Chen of the Science Division, "our conventional defenses won't last an hour." General O'Coffer's deep voice cut through the mounting panic. "What's our response capability? How many ships can we deploy?" Admiral Wainwright exchanged a glance with the Earth Federation president, who gave an almost imperceptible nod. "Members of the Council," Wainwright began, "what I'm about to share is classified beyond top secret. For the past 15 years, Earth has been developing an experimental fleet using technology reverse-engineered from the fragments of an unknown vessel discovered on Mars." The room erupted in surprised outbursts. "Project Wraith," Wainwright continued once order was restored. 7 warships with capabilities far beyond our conventional fleet. Adaptive hull materials that absorb and redirect energy. Quantum entanglement drives. AI-enhanced tactical systems that can predict enemy movements. "Why weren't we informed of this?" demanded the African Union representative. "Because they were never meant to be deployed except in humanity's darkest hour," answered the president, rising to her feet. Her presence commanded instant silence. "We're facing extinction. I believe that hour has come." "Are these ships operational?" asked Director Chen. 5 are complete," Wainwright replied. "The last 2 can be ready within 2 weeks if we divert all resources." President Lockhart surveyed the room. "Ladies and gentlemen, We have 8 weeks before the Krell arrive. I need unanimous consent to activate Project Wraith. One by one, the council members voiced their agreement. There was no alternative. Commander Reyes, the president turned to her. Your discovery may have saved humanity. Admiral Wainwright informs me you've been on the shortlist to command one of the Wraith vessels. Reyes straightened. Madam President, I'm a monitoring station commander, not a warship captain. These aren't ordinary times, Commander. We need people who can think beyond conventional military doctrine. Report to Luna Base in 24 hours. You'll be briefing Captain Marcus Chen, who will command our flagship. As the council session ended, Rice found herself alone with Admiral Wainwright in the antechamber. Why didn't you tell me about Wraith? She asked quietly. The Admiral's eyes reflected decades of service and sacrifice. Because we hoped never to use them. The technology is not entirely understood. The ships are powerful, yes, but unpredictable. Their neural interfaces require exceptional mental resilience, and Captain Chen has this resilience. He's the best we have. Former Special Forces, PhD in xenobiology. After losing his family in the Europa colony disaster, he volunteered for the most dangerous testing phases of the neural interface system. Rice absorbed this information. The Krell, from the message data, they'd been studying us for decades through the Horizon colonists. They know our tactics, our technology. Wainwright nodded grimly. Which is exactly why the Wraith fleet might be our only chance. It's the one thing they couldn't have anticipated. 3 days later, Reyes stood beside Captain Chen on the observation deck of Luna Base, watching as technicians swarmed over the massive vessel in the cavernous underground hangar. The Spectre, Chen's soon-to-be flagship, gleamed under the harsh work lights, its hull shifting subtly like liquid metal catching moonlight. Unlike the blocky utilitarian designs of Earth's conventional warships, the Wraith vessels were sleek and predatory, almost organic in their appearance. Watching workers move across its surface gave Reyes an unsettling sense of scale. The Spectre was enormous, nearly a kilometer in length. Impressive, isn't she? Chen remarked, his voice carrying the slight accent of someone raised in the orbital habitats around Mars. He was younger than Reyes had expected, perhaps in his late 30s, with keen eyes that seemed to evaluate everything around him. I've never seen anything like it, Reyes admitted. The hull material responds to both conscious commands and situational threats, Chen finished. A collaborative creation between human engineers and the AI systems derived from the Mars artifact. It can reconfigure for stealth, defense, or enhanced sensor capabilities. Below them, a massive panel on the Spectre's hull slid open as a team guided a pulsing crystalline structure into place. The quantum core, Chen explained. Conventional physics says what we're attempting should be impossible. Yet here we are. Rice studied him carefully. You've interfaced with the ship already. A shadow crossed Chen's face. 14 times during testing. It's unlike anything you can imagine. The ship becomes an extension of yourself. You feel everything. Its power, its hunger for movement, the vast emptiness waiting beyond the atmosphere. He turned to face her directly. That's why I requested you as my XO. Your psychological evaluations show exceptional compartmentalization abilities. You'll need them when the interface pulls at your consciousness. The crew, 800 of Earth's finest. Many don't even know these ships exist yet. They'll need to learn systems that defy conventional understanding, train on weapons never before deployed, and become a cohesive unit before facing an enemy no human has ever survived encountering. Chen's voice remained calm, but Reyes detected the weight of responsibility in his words. Do you believe we can win, Captain? Chen was silent for a long moment, watching as the final preparations continued below. I believe we can survive, Commander. And sometimes, that's enough. The next 6 days passed in a blur of briefings, crew assignments, and final systems checks. The Wraith fleet's existence was announced to the public, carefully framed as a long-planned defense initiative, now being activated ahead of schedule. Panic was contained, but a somber readiness spread across Earth as civilian evacuations to underground shelters began. On the seventh day, the Spectre and its sister ships, Phantom, Revenant, Shade, Apparition, and Poltergeist, prepared for departure from their lunar cradles. The seventh vessel, Banshee, would join them in 2 weeks once its final systems were integrated. Captain Chen stood on the Spectre's bridge, surveying his command crew. Each officer had been handpicked for both technical expertise and psychological resilience. Commander Reyes stood at the tactical station, her posture revealing none of the anxiety she surely felt. "All vessels report ready, Captain," announced Lieutenant Commander Jackson from the operations console. Chen nodded and opened a channel to the entire fleet. "Crew of the Wraith Initiative, this is Captain Chen. In moments, we will depart on humanity's most important mission. You've all seen the intelligence briefings. You know what's at stake." He paused, his eyes moving across the bridge to each crew member. "The Krell believe they understand humanity. They've studied our captured colonists for decades, but they've never encountered the power we now command, the determination that drives us, or the spirit that defines us. We carry with us the hopes of Earth and every human colony. We will not fail." Chen closed the channel and turned to Reyes. "Commander, take us out." As one, the Wraith fleet rose from the lunar surface, their hulls shifting to absorption mode, rendering them nearly invisible against the black of space. Earth's most advanced weapons, crewed by its finest officers, embarked to meet an enemy that thought they knew everything about humanity. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Into the void. The quantum entanglement drive engaged with a sensation Captain Chen had never quite grown accustomed to. Reality seemed to fold around the Spectre, stars smearing into prismatic ribbons as conventional physics surrendered to the ship's demands. Behind them, the 5 other vessels of the Wraith Initiative matched their transition perfectly, maintaining precise formation despite velocities that would have been impossible for traditional engines. "Transition complete, Captain," reported Lieutenant Hayes from the navigation station. "All ships stable at quantum velocity. ETA to intercept point, 72 hours. Chen acknowledged with a nod, suppressing the disorientation that always accompanied these transitions. Through the neural interface, he could feel the ship's systems, the gentle hum of power conduits, the vigilant sensors scanning the void ahead, the restless energy of the quantum core. It was like having a second body, vast and powerful. "Commander Reyes, status of fleet integration drills?" he asked, turning to his XO. Reyes consulted her display. "Progressing as well as can be expected, sir. The crews are adapting to the neural interfaces better than projected, but we're still seeing synchronization issues during complex maneuvers." "Unsurprising," Chen replied. "They're learning in days what should take months. Schedule another round of battle simulations. Focus on distributed response patterns." "Yes, sir." The plan was simple in concept, nearly impossible in execution. The Wraith fleet would intercept the Krell Armada beyond Saturn's orbit, using the gas giant's electromagnetic field and numerous moons for tactical advantage. They needed to hit hard and fast, gathering combat data while testing the aliens' capabilities, then withdraw to formulate a more comprehensive strategy. Throughout the ship, 800 crew members, many still adjusting to the strange sensation of the neural link, prepared for humanity's first engagement with the Krell. Engineers fine-tuned systems that defied conventional understanding. Tactical officers studied the limited data on Krell ship configurations, searching for weaknesses. Medical teams prepared for casualties from weapons they could only speculate about. In the officers' mess during the brief rest period, Reyes found Dr. Aisha Sharma, the Spectre's chief science officer, staring intently at a holographic model of what they believed to be a Krell cruiser. "Found anything useful?" Reyes asked, setting down her coffee. Sharma, brilliant but notoriously direct, frowned at the rotating model. "Their propulsion system doesn't make sense. The energy signature suggests they're using some form of gravitational manipulation, but the configuration is wrong. almost like it was designed by someone who fundamentally misunderstands how space-time works. Is that good or bad for us? Both, Sharma replied. Their approach is inefficient, which suggests limits to their scientific understanding. But it's also unpredictable because it doesn't follow principles we consider logical. Before Rice could respond, the ship-wide alert sounded. Chen's voice came through the comm. All senior officers to the bridge. We've detected scout vessels. When Rice arrived on the bridge 2 minutes later, the tactical display showed 3 small vessels at extreme sensor range, moving in a search pattern that suggested they hadn't yet detected the Wraith fleet. Krell scouts, Chen confirmed. They're approximately 6 hours ahead of their main fleet based on their current vectors. Strategic Officer Lieutenant Commander Rivera studied the movement patterns. They're being thorough. Methodical search grid. If we maintain our current course, they'll detect us in approximately 20 minutes. Chen's eyes narrowed as he considered their options. We need intelligence on their capabilities before engaging the main fleet. Commander Reyes, prepare a capture operation. I want one of those scouts. For the next 15 minutes, the bridge buzzed with controlled intensity as the plan took shape. The Phantom and Revenant would create a diversion while the Spectre, running silent with its hull in full absorption mode, would move into position to disable one of the scouts with a targeted EMP burst. Diversion vessels in position, Rivera reported. Ready on your command. Chen nodded. Execute. The Phantom and Revenant dropped their stealth profiles simultaneously, appearing to the Krell sensors as they executed a high-energy maneuver that mimicked an emergency course correction. The reaction was immediate. The Krell scouts accelerated toward the apparent malfunction, weapons systems powering up. They've taken the bait, Rice confirmed. Scout 3 is separating from the others, moving to establish a flanking position. As predicted, Chen said, Helm, bring us into position behind Scout 3. Weapons, prepare the EMP package. Through the neural interface, Chen felt the Spectre respond, its movements fluid and predatory as it closed on the unsuspecting alien vessel. The scout ship was smaller than expected, perhaps 60 meters in length, with an angular design that reminded Chen of the prehistoric insects he'd studied at university. In position, Hayes reported. Target locked. Fire. The EMP burst, specifically calibrated based on the data from the Horizon message, struck the Krell scout with precision. Its systems flickered, and for a moment, it drifted lifeless in space. Then, unexpectedly, auxiliary power engaged. They're recovering faster than anticipated, Rice warned, and the other scouts have detected us. Chen made a split-second decision. Deploy the capture field. Bring it in. The Spectre's hull reconfigured, extending energy tendrils that enveloped the struggling scout ship. With a surge of power through the quantum core, they pulled the vessel into one of the Spectre's specialized containment bays. Breach teams, secure the capture, Chen ordered. Helm, get us clear. Signal Phantom and Revenant to disengage and rendezvous at fallback point Theta. The next hours were tense as the Wraith vessels regrouped while specialized teams in advanced containment suits examined the captured scout ship. 3 Krell crew members had been found, non-humanoid entities with exoskeletons and multiple compound eyes. They were placed in secure stasis while Dr. Sharma led the examination of their technology. Chen, Reyes, and the senior staff gathered in the tactical room as Sharma presented her findings. Their technology is impressive but fundamentally different from our approach, she explained, displaying schematics extracted from the Scout systems. They rely heavily on biological components integrated with mechanical systems. Their weapons are primarily energy-based, designed to overwhelm conventional shields through sustained bombardment rather than precision strikes. Weaknesses? Rivera asked. 2 significant ones, Sharma replied, unable to hide her excitement. First, their sensors are optimized for detecting conventional engine signatures and metallic hull compositions. The Wraith ship's adaptive materials confused them until we deliberately revealed ourselves. And second, Their command structure appears rigidly hierarchical. The scout crews were paralyzed when cut off from the main fleet's coordination signals. They have abundant processing power but limited independent decision-making capability. Chen absorbed this information. The implications clear. They evolved as a hive species, exceptional when acting in concert, vulnerable when isolated. Reyes leaned forward. We could use that. If we can disrupt their command communications. Precisely. Chen nodded. Dr. Sharma, focus your team on developing a targeted communications jamming system based on what we've learned. Commander Rivera, revise our tactical approach to emphasize isolating Krell vessels from their command structure. As the meeting concluded, Chen held Reyes back. The main fleet will detect the loss of their scouts soon. Our original timeline just accelerated. The crews aren't ready, Reyes said quietly. The neural link training is still incomplete for most sections. I know. Chen's expression was grim, but we've gained valuable intelligence. The Krell may have studied humanity for decades, but they've never encountered humans who can think like us, adapting, improvising, making intuitive leaps their hierarchical minds can't predict. You're suggesting we use the neural interfaces offensively. Not just that. I'm suggesting we embrace what they would consider our greatest weakness, our individuality, our capacity for independent action within a coordinated framework. Chen's eyes gleamed with fierce determination. Have all command crews increased their neural interface depth by 20%. We're going to show the Krell something they've never seen before. Humans fighting as one mind, yet thinking as individuals. 12 hours later, long-range sensors detected the main Krell fleet, 37 vessels of varying sizes, advancing in a precise formation that confirmed Dr. Sharma's assessment of their hierarchical nature. At the center, a massive command ship coordinated their movements. The bridge crew of the Spectre watched the tactical display in silence, the enormity of what they faced sinking in. Even with their advanced technology, 6 Wraith vessels against 37 Krell ships were not favorable odds. They're scanning for us, reported the sensor officer. Standard search pattern. Chen stood from his command chair, his decision made. All vessels, prepare for engagement. Activate enhanced neural interface protocols. He felt the ship respond as the connection deepened, the boundary between his consciousness and the Spectre's systems blurring. Sir, Reyes said quietly beside him. The crew's report ready, but many are experiencing disorientation from the enhanced interface. Tell them to embrace it, Chen replied. That disorientation is where our advantage lies. He opened a channel to all ships. This is Captain Chen. In moments, we will engage an enemy that believes they know everything about us. They expect predictable tactics, conventional responses. We will show them humanity's true strength, our ability to adapt, to improvise, to act as individuals united by a common purpose. He paused, feeling the collective determination of his crew through the interface. Trust your training. Trust your ships. Most importantly, trust yourselves. We are the last line of defense for Earth. We will not fail. Chen closed the channel and turned to his tactical officer. Lieutenant Rivera, deploy the fleet according to pattern Hydra. Target their communication relays first, then their propulsion systems. Pattern Hydra. Aye, sir, Rivera acknowledged, his fingers dancing across the tactical console. As one, the 6 ships of the Wraith Initiative accelerated toward the Krell Armada, their hulls shifting to combat configuration. Humanity's most advanced vessels, crewed by its finest officers, moved to engage an enemy that had never faced the full measure of human determination. The battle for Earth's survival had begun.